covering Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. This is ABC 12 News at 11. Starting with breaking news.
This agreement sets us on a new path to make things right at Ford, at the Big Three, and across the auto industry. Together, we are turning the tide for the working class in this country.
A tentative agreement between the UAW and Ford tonight, and a possible signal that the union could be nearing the end of its nearly 6-week strike with the Big Three automakers. In the pact with Ford, some of the biggest wins for automakers in more than 20 years, including a 25% wage hike over the life of the contract and an immediate 11% wage increase. Tonight, UAW President Shawn Fain and Vice President Chuck Browning posted a video online telling union members Ford knew what was coming for them after the past 2 days of stand-up strikes at Stellantis and GM, and that was checkmate. The 4-year deal still has to be approved by 57,000 union members at Ford, but the historic gains could set the pattern for agreements with the other two automakers.
We told Ford to pony up, and they did. We won things nobody thought was possible. Since the strike began, Ford put 50% more on the table than when we walked out.
When we say historic, we mean it. We have won a 25% general wage increase over the course of this agreement. With COLA, we expect the top wage rate to increase by over 30% to above $40 an hour. Our starting wage rate will rise 68%. For decades, temps at the Big Three have been abused and exploited. Over the life of the contract, temps will see raises of over 150%.
The UAW called on all workers at Ford to return to their jobs and said that will put pressure on GM and Stellantis to bargain. The tentative agreement will next go to local leaders across the country who will travel to Detroit Sunday to vote to send it to members. Then, Fain says the UAW will host a Facebook Live to go through the deal with union members, and they will have meetings locally before voting on whether to approve it. Ford CEO and President Jim Farley reacting tonight, saying Ford is proud to assemble the most vehicles in America and employ the most hourly auto workers. Farley says we are focused on restarting Kentucky truck plant, Michigan assembly plant, and Chicago assembly plant, calling 20,000 Ford employees back to work and shipping our full lineup to our customers again. GM and Stellantis workers will remain on the picket lines and wait to see what this tentative agreement means for their new contract. And for other workers across the country, like those at Flint Assembly who haven't been called to stand up and strike, it's business as usual, working 40 hours a week or more while their brothers and sisters in Burton and Swartz Creek are picketing just a few miles away. Workers at GM Flint Assembly say they continue to hold their breath as 5,000 workers at GM's assembly plant in Arlington, Texas walked out, halting production of truck-based SUVs that are huge profit makers for the company.
When they called Arlington, a lot of us were surprised. We were expecting the call. We were, the anticipation, but I think a lot of the anxiety is for most of us to get a good contract.
29,000 UAW members from GM and Stellantis will remain on strike until their companies agree to a similar package to the one reached with Ford.